Chapter 22. Going Grey. Koby was elated. The idea had worked. Now he could help the Queen escape, though he wouldn't say it in front of the King. When do I get to take over? Koby asked bluntly. The doctor gasped in shock. However, the King laughed. Eagerness is not a bad thing, Koby, he said with a smile. We will prepare for the vigil tomorrow, and the handover can be done. I am tired, as you can no doubt see. The sooner Anne Cerune is off my shoulders, and onto one stronger, it shall be for the better. I will leave you with the doctor to see to your preparations, which is why you were summoned to begin with. I had known you would say yes, so the doctor will provide you with the necessary information to command and rule. The king bade them farewell and left. The doctor watched the king leave and turned to Koby. Now let's get one thing straight, she said fiercely. You are not fit to be king, not now and not ever. Koby reeled back as though struck. His eyes went down to the ground. Even going to another world, he thought, there are those who still dislike me. His initial insight was to run away, as he'd done before, but something stopped him and made him stay. I don't want to be king, said Koby quietly, though his insides felt as though they were coming apart. The doctor sneered. Nor will you be, if I get my way. See the other doctors for your information. There is much to be done, and I'm very busy. She huffed and scurried away on her metal legs. Shaken, Koby glanced around at the laboratory and saw that tubes and vials were scattered around, as well as jellyfish-like metal structures that hung from the ceiling. There were other people in the blue lab, and Koby asked about the information the king had mentioned. The knowledge of Anne Cerune, explained a short blue-haired doctor, is long. You'll need to connect to our stations. I hope you didn't have anything planned, as you'll be here a while. Koby said he didn't, and the doctor brought down two of the metal tentacles from the roof of the jellyfish-like structure and placed them on his temples. Koby watched as strange symbols illuminated from the roof down the tentacles and began flooding his brain with knowledge. Royalty, customs, holidays, technology, landmarks and more flooded into his mind akin to how the Edge had. He braced as the knowledge flooded in and suddenly stopped, his brow sweaty and breast exerted like he'd been running. How much more is there to go? Asked Koby. Oh, there is much more. You still need technology and landmarks, began the doctor. I got those, interrupted Koby. I know all about the rips and the Leviathan shell. The doctor stared back at him, stunned. But the data transfer takes hours. You can't have absorbed that in a few seconds. You mean that's everything there is? Said Koby. Three, two, one. I, you, stammered the doctor. Yes, that's everything. You are free to go. He gave Koby a look of terror and quickly moved away, leaving Koby to detach the tentacles himself. As Koby touched the tentacles, he felt a surge of power run through him like an electric shock. He recoiled, but the tentacles remained, stuck on the side of his head. Koby saw the symbols come down from the roof, brighter this time, and faster. Upon reaching his head, a charge of electricity went through his skull, making his teeth chatter and eyes blur. He closed his eyes, and upon opening them again, he found he was no longer in the blue laboratory. Koby found himself inside a swirling mass of grey clouds that seemed to try and wrap around himself, menacing and unwelcoming. Why did you send me here? Koby heard a voice cry out. Why did I deserve this? Koby found the source of the voice. There, upon his knees, was Ashley, bound by his arms and legs by the grey clouds. Before him was a figure inside the clouds, tall and menacing. You are now a harbinger of the grey, boomed the voice of the figure. All must fade. I just came to the festival to have a good time. I didn't want silence, thundered the figure, its apparition growing in size. A grey tendril erupted from the figure and drove itself inside Ashley's mouth, the sound of gagging emitted from Ashley. You must serve, said the figure, as more tendrils shot forth and went into Ashley's eyes and nose. He writhed in pain as tendrils drove inside him. Koby watched in horror as Ashley's body began to morph and change, his bones cracking as his arms extended to be longer and his fingers breaking to become claws. His legs fused together and formed a tail, while his head split open, grey mist and blood bursting forth before reforming into that of a snake. Now, my child of grey, said the figure as the tendrils returned. Kill. Ashley turned and faced Koby. No longer the school bully that had made his life a misery. Ashley was now an enormous snake with arms that slithered towards him. Ashley's long grey tongue shot out of his mouth, smelling his way towards Koby. He turned and ran, but Ashley seized him, gripping his shoulders and squeezing him in place. Ashley's mouth opened, a pair of dripping poisonous fangs extending out towards him. Koby's body began to shake as Ashley yelled inside his mind, "Koby! Koby! Koby!" before lashing out towards him to bite. "Koby!" shouted Dr. Bluebell. "Koby, what have you done?" Confused and disoriented, Koby found himself back in the laboratory, arms blaring and smoke filling the room. "What happened?" said Koby, his head pounding like it had just been squeezed in a vice. "You broke our uploader, that's what happened," shouted Bluebell. "Get out of my lab this instant." Koby managed to stand and stagger out of the lab, his balance shaky as he wobbled back towards his room, listening to the string of curses from Bluebell in the distance. Collapsing onto his bed in exhaustion, Koby fell into a restless dream of Ashley and the terrible figure within the clouds. He thought he saw a familiar face within the grey clouds, but he could not place it. Upon waking, Koby found the blue sun had been dimmed, signifying it was close to night time. He saw an outfit had been placed in his room and a note attached. "Please dress for the banquet to celebrate your upcoming coronation." Still woozy, Koby dressed in the clothes that were laid out for him, a simple blue suit with shoes to match. He had never worn anything that fit him so properly before. It felt very strange yet comforting, helping him forget about the vision he'd had. He slowly made his way to the banquet hall. There within were long tables on the edges and a smaller table in the middle, all connecting to a curve at the far end where King Sidon was seated. Koby realized the tables were in the shape of a trident, the emblem of Anne Cerune. Dozens of blue-haired people sat at the tables, all of varying aquatic creatures. At his entrance, a sudden hush came over the hall. He walked slowly as hundreds of blue eyes fixated upon him, making him extremely uncomfortable. He did not know where to look when suddenly the hall erupted in applause and cheering, people rising out of their seats. The banquet hall was filled with celebration to the bemusement of Koby, who stood perplexed as to what was going on. The king spoke above all of them, calling for silence. Koby glanced in his direction, the old king appearing proud and tall as he stood in the elevated head of the hall. "Welcome, Koby," he said warmly. "Please come and join me here at my side so that we may begin the banquet and to toast your new coronation to come." Koby quickly made his way around the tables. Flushed with embarrassment, he navigated to his seat. The eyes of the banquet hall were upon him as he sat down. "Now that the guest of honor has arrived," said the king triumphantly, "let the feast begin." The doors of the hall opened, and hundreds of flying fish entered, all carrying plates of food that were placed along the tables for people to select. Koby watched as the swarm of fish disappeared back to where they'd come from, only for another to take its place with another plate of food. Before Koby, a large grilled fish with blue salad surrounded it had been placed. A little further down was what appeared to be a snake, and on the other side what appeared to be blue prawns. Koby waited to see other people eating before attacking the fish before him, not realizing he had not eaten since breakfast. A blue-haired serving girl poured Koby a blue, sweet-smelling drink in a clear glass. It tasted like a milkshake, but unbeknown to Koby, it was alcoholic, making him choke. "That is heaven's brew," said the king, "a delicacy reserved only for the finest of occasions." Koby drank some more of the sweet drink and felt his head go a little fuzzy. The king smiled as they charged their drinks together, the banquet hall doing so also. Koby felt an amazing sense of hospitality from the king and those in the hall, as though they'd been waiting for him without his knowledge. He smiled and ate the food, the king and the rest of the hall doing so with great reverence. It was not long until the evening that the king asked for silence and stood up, the banquet hall going quiet. "It is this evening, the night before the inauguration of your new king," he said, gesturing to Koby, "that we take the time to celebrate those that have come before us, and honor them in spirit in all that we do. I have lived long in these halls. Long has been my reign, and I have seen many men and women come and go, some good, some bad, all within my reign. I have ruled amidst the great sickness that has befallen us, as we are not the nation we once were. I feel as though my attempts to remedy the sickness and bring us together have only pushed us further apart. I long for the days of yesterday, when we were a simpler people, not what we have become, a nation divided by scorn and deceit." His voice turned hard. "Of those whose anger makes them hunger for more than they have. I had hoped to restore these people to their rightful place alongside me, but it seemed that we were forever divided, or at least that was our fate seemed to be, until, he turned to Koby, until the singularity came to us. Brought from a falling star, he joined us at the most perilous hour to save us from the darkness that is threatening to swallow us all. I welcome you here, Koby, the new ruler of Anne Cerune, to be the light in the darkness. You will deliver our proud and great nation back to the light, where it belongs, and into a bright and glorious future. I have always known that my time here would not be forever, though I wish sometimes it was. It is not remiss of me to mention my wife, whom I've lost and love dearly. Koby listened closely. She is one of my greatest losses, one that I feel I should never recover from. Should she still be among us, I know she would welcome Koby as one of us and the true king of the Blue City and its fair people. Long may you reign over us, Koby. Though you may wish for it to be short, I know our fair people will win you over and take care of you for all your wants and needs. The Blue City is yours to see it forward into the bright existence it deserves. I fear I've only sent it backwards, and its undoing has been that of my own. One day I shall reflect on my transgressions, and see if the goddess judges me rightly or wrongly. Only time will tell, but for now, he paused, smiling at Koby. For now it is time to hear from the new king. Koby, would you please rise and give a few words to our beloved people? Koby got to his feet, the embarrassment flushing to his face at the prospect of speaking before such a large group of people. His face beaded with sweat, his hands clammy, his legs shaking. He mumbled, unsure of what to say. Thank you, King Sidon. Thank you for the gift you have bestowed upon me. He found his voice. Thank you for the people welcoming me. Though I am not the king some of you may want, remembering Bluebell, I will do what I can so that I can live up to be the king this city deserves.